Hello, this is for Animal Science 142 skeletal assignment. I'm going to try and see if I can do as much as I can do with what I have. So here we go. Working with what parts we have from the cat stuff, I'm going to start on the list. We are going to start with the cranial. And in the cranial, we are going to mention the frontal bone, the parietal bone, and the temporal bone. Within the temporal, there is the zygomatic process, which is back along here. And within the zygomatic process, we have this area, which I'm trying to show a little closer. Right in here, which is the external acoustic meatus. We have the mastoid process, but I have to get the jawbone for that, which I don't think is the correct size for this particular animal, as the skeleton came in pieces. But the mastoid process would be down in here, where this would normally be to size and connect properly. It would be right back here. So surrounding the acoustic meatus is the tympanic bulla, and let's see. And the squamous part is going to be the flatter part. Maybe it shows better on this side. It's going to be this flat part. Moving on to the occipital. Okay, the occipital bone is here with the foramen magnus as this foramina right here, foramen. And the occipital cotyledon is this area. Let me just grab a pen. 2 point. Okay. And this bone right here is the occipital condyle. The sphenoid is basically going to be down below here in between. That's the sphenoid. Okay, facial bones. We have the nasal bone, the maxilla bone. We have the incisor bone. Oh, the nasal conchae turbinates is right here, and the infraorbital foramen is of course here. Incisor, zygomatic. So as the temporal process is here, here's the zygomatic arch. Together, this is the zygomatic bone. The lacrimal is in here in the eye sockets. Now these eye sockets are rather large, so it's kind of difficult. And I think this is a dog, not a cat, but the lacrimal would be right here in this area. Palatine, of course, would be this bone right here in the hard palate. For the mandible, we have this little baby mandible. The mandible, the ramus is this vertical area. This is the body. The articulate process is this area. The angle or angular process is here. The symphysis is this line right here. And the coronoid process is going to be this kind of roundish wave-shaped area. Now, the hyoid, I don't think I can find it, but it is the bone, I think. Actually, this might be it. No, wait, that's not it. Okay, this might be it. And it's two very small pieces, but it actually is supposed to form an H, and it would be basically in here, down below, it would be here, which holds the tongue in place. So it would be in between the mandible and below the cranial. So moving on to the vertebrae, I think what we have here for vertebrae, get this one moved over, going to be the best example. This is from what I could piece together. Here we have the atlas. These are the wings of the atlas, and this is the axis. In the wings, we have, here are the wings. The dens is this area right here. And, okay, in a vertebrae, this looks like a fairly good vertebrae. So in the vertebrae, we have the body, the vertical foramen, well, actually, the vertical foramen for the atlas. Okay, this is the vertical foramen for the intervertebral form. Okay, that would be this here. Then we have the spinous process. We have the transverse. Now this one is kind of, I'm trying to do one that kind of shows it more. Okay, I like this one. We have transverse, spinous, vertebral arch. This is the vertebral arch. The body, wings, the dens. This is the dens. This area here. Now, this spine was a little difficult to tell, but pretty much for the T11, because I think it stops. I think this changes direction, even though these might fit, they put it together wrong. So for T11, this is going to be, T11 is when it's going to stop going up. So I think this one is T11 right here. And if we were to do this in a solid line, which it's harder to show, here we would have the cervical, the thoracic, the lumbar, the sacral, of course, and the coccygeal is going to be on the end here, so it would be more like as if, okay, let's start that over. So we have cervical, cervical, thoracic, lumbar, sacral, and coccygeal. Okay. Now, for the sternum and ribs, we have this odd structure that came with the package, but within it, we have everything we need. So here's the sternum. This would be the ventral side of it, and this is the ventral. So within that, here we would have the manubrium. This is the sternum and the xiphoid. And the ribs, of course, would go up here. I think the ribs, these are the ribs. These look like the ribs, but they're in the bag, so we're going to take them apart. Okay, moving on. We've got, okay. start is that a little bit of a full thing here. So here we have the scapula. Let's turn the head around. Coccygeal. Okay. So basically we have the pectoral, we have the clavicle. Within the clavicle, oh wait, this doesn't have a clavicle because it's a cat or a dog, we're not quite sure. This is the scapula. Within the scapula, we have the glenoid cavity and the coracoid process. Here's the spine, and then just for the supravena fossa, the infrafossa. Yes, okay. Now with the humerus, which I'm pretty sure this is the humerus, even though it was difficult to tell in the package, but this I imagine is the humerus. Therefore, we have the head. Okay. Here's the greater tubercle, lesser tubercle, deltoid tuberosity, the olecranes fossa. The olecranes fossa would be in here, this area. Supracondyle fossa or supratrochlear foramen. I don't know what that is because I'm not sure if this is a cat or dog. Okay, moving on, we have the radius. I'm almost certain this is a radius, but it's just not matched to the specific skeleton. So within that, we have, this is the radius, and this is the ulna. In the ulna, we have the olecranon and the trochlear notch, which I think this is a trochlear notch in here, and the olecranon is this other one. Okay, on to paws and carpals. We have quite a few different paws. I will pick what I think is the best one. I'm gonna go, let's see. First of all, on the back paw. So as I imagine this is the back paw, I'm gonna skip down. This is the calcaneus, and here is the talus. Okay, just go from top to bottom. Then going back up, we have the carpus in here. These are the metacarpals. Now, I imagine this one actually is a cat because you don't particularly see the dew claw, but we would have metacarpal 1, metacarpal 2, metacarpal 2, metacarpal 3, metacarpal 4, metacarpal 5. Then we have the proximal phalanges, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then the middle phalanges, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we would have the distal phalanges, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and then of course the digits. Now for the pelvis, okay, we have the pelvis. Here's the ilium crest, and the ilium wing, and here's the acetabulum. Okay, so this would be like if the spine is this way. So the acetabulum, and that is the sacroiliac joint. We have the ischium, and the ischial tuberosity is this point right here. Then we have the pubis symphysis, and that is this, the pubis symphysis is right here. And the obturator for foramen is right here, which they said allows for less weight, greater strength, but less weight of the pelvis. And okay, femur. I think this is a femur. We kind of have this all discombobulated. So here we go. On the femur, we have I think they messed up the way that they put it. This is the greater trochanter, lesser trochanter. And we have the fibulae, the head. Here's the head, the neck, and the patellar surface is here, where it would connect down into this, but these aren't connected, right? Okay, then we have the tibia. Gosh, this is a mess. Okay, tibia. So the tibia is the larger bone. Medial malleus. I think the medial malleus is this area right here. Then we have the fibia, which this is the head. And this is the lateral malleolus. And I think that's it. I hope I covered everything. Okay, a little over time. Thank you so much. Mahalo.